Hey everyone, hey. This is Coach Linda, and I'm coming with another 100 days of purpose. Today, I want to talk about, um, oh God, I forgot what my topic is today. Hold on one second, let me see. Today, we are talking about the inner me is my greatest enemy. So, hey everyone, I don't know if I went off or not, but I am Coach Linda, and this is 100 Days of Purpose. And I am coming today, and we are talking about the inner me is my greatest enemy. And what I mean by that is eternal thoughts, right? Your internal thoughts, the things that the unconscious biases that you have, the negative tape that you play in your mind because you are trying to um, you're trying to do things, but you keep talking yourself out of it. You're wanting to accomplish things, but you keep talking yourself out of it. You keep telling yourself that you cannot do it. And if you do it, it's going to fail. If it, nobody is going to want to listen to you. Nobody likes you. Everybody is against you. Woe is me. Woe is that. Da 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 da. When you're talking about that, that's your inner me, right? And many times, many of us have been hurt. We've been hurt as young people, as children. Maybe you were in a bad situation, and that situation has molded you and caused you to think that you can't accomplish things, right? You can't do the things that you want to do because one, you don't have the education, two, maybe you don't have the vocabulary to express yourself in the manner that you want to express yourself. There's just a lot of things that happen in life that tell us that it's an obstacle that we have to overcome, or it's an obstacle that is in our way to hinder and to block and to stop us. And we allow that voice in our head. And I'm not talking about what other people say. This is what you say to yourself. The inner me is your greatest enemy. Sometimes, and let me back up a little bit because I want to correct something I just said. People have a tendency of saying things to you and you take ownership of it. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the things that you truly believe about yourself. Nobody has told you that. Nobody has um, planted seeds in your mind about that. You tell yourself, maybe you say, well, I'm too fat. Maybe you say, I'm too skinny. Maybe, I'm African American, or I'm Caucasian, or I'm Asian, or I'm Hispanic, or, no one in my family has ever accomplished that, or that's going to be hard and I don't have the money for it, or I don't know the first thing to do or how to maneuver myself into it. And you just talk yourself out of things that should be easy for us. And we never try, right? We just I there's things in my life that I know that I have the ability to do it. And if I really put my mind to it, I can be successful in doing those things. But for many years, I told myself, nobody wants to hear what you have to say, right? Who are you to even think that people want to hear what you have to say? And then I would go to a situation or a event, and I would start to talk to individuals one on one, and I would start to you know, it would hit on a topic that I'm well versed in, and I would just start talking. They're like, you know what, you need to be on that stage talking, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. And I was like, oh no, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I'm not qualified for that, you know, and I would bat it down. And I realized that it was me. I wanted to point my fingers at others and say, well, it's because of them. It's because of what they did to me. It's because of what they said. It's because of what they, uh, you know, what they're telling other people about me, or, you know, this group of people don't like me, or, you know, whatever it was, you know, there's a whole lot that we tell ourselves, right? And it's unconscious bias. It's, you know, internal self-hate, right? It's internal self-hate. Nobody is hating on us but us. Nobody is telling us, you know, it's one thing when people are coming in saying, shut up, don't do that, don't do this, don't nobody want to hear that. It's one thing when people are saying that, but it's another whole thing when you're telling yourself that and nobody else is speaking. They're actually pushing you and saying, no, we want to hear what you have to say, and you're telling them, no, you don't. Sometimes your inner person, your inner thoughts, your inner dialogue is your worst and greatest fear or enemy. It's the thing that's holding you back. It's the thing that's stopping you. And if you're going to be a person of purpose, if you're going to be strategic and intentional about what you say and what you do and living this life of purpose, you are going to have to deal with your inner me, that inner child, that scared little one that keeps telling you it's too scary out there. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to confront it. You're going to have to do it afraid. You're going to have to walk out and know how to network your way into places that people want you to be in because they want you, right? There are individuals out there waiting for the gift that's on the inside of you. And the only way they're going to get it is that you crack open that shell that you put yourself in, and you allow your greatness to seep out. You allow the resources to take place. You allow these things to come in and grace the people with your presence. You know, I think one of the reasons I think that I always feel led to do these 100 days of purpose is because I've noticed that the first time I did it, I was telling myself nobody wants to hear me, right? And then when I started doing it and the numbers were 0, 0, 0, nobody was watching me while I was live. Nobody was, you know, patting me on the back. And it just seemed like, Linda, you're out here spitting at the wind, right? And then the next year, I did it again. And then people started watching and people started responding. And then the next year I did it again. And then I didn't do it. And I believe this time, the reason why it was needed for me to do it is because I had started telling myself again, nobody wants to hear it. I skipped a year, you know, I think I skipped 2 years. I can't remember. I think the last time I did it was 2020. So I didn't do it in 2021 and I didn't do it in 2022. And then I'm doing it now in 2023. And I kept telling myself, no one wants to hear it. Nobody wants to listen to me, right? I've lost those that were engaging are no longer engaging. And so my inner me keeps telling me, stop it. Why are you doing it for 100 days? Nobody's listening to you. But then I started looking and people were coming back and they were watching the replay and they were saying, oh, this is really reach. And people started reaching out to me and saying, you know what? I'm so glad you're doing that. every when I can catch the replays, I'm listening to the replays, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I appreciate what you're saying, right? And it's not some, I don't need that, but it's letting me see that there are people that need to hear my voice. They need to understand purpose the way that I understand purpose. They agree with what I'm saying. And had I not done it afraid, because every time I do this, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that nobody's going to listen. I'm afraid that nobody's going to watch. I'm afraid that I'm going to stumble over my words. I'm afraid that I'm going to say it in a way that sounds like I'm rambling, or, it's not going to make sense. It's, all of these thoughts go up. And even now, even today, they're running through my head. But I'm learning that I got to confront that inner child. I got to confront the things that make me feel inadequate. And it's not because of people, it's because of me. It's because of what I've been through. It's because of what I've experienced. It's because of how I feel, right? It has nothing to do with anyone else. And I learned a real valuable lesson today. I had misjudged someone, and I thought one way about them. And I realized that it was my insecurity. It had nothing to do with that individual. It was my insecurities. And when we had the conversation and we were talking, I realized, you know what? I almost threw the towel in on a friendship, on something that is beneficial to me, right? I almost threw the towel in because I didn't understand the dynamics of the other person. And I was telling myself it was one way, not because they said anything or did anything. It was because I was feeling like it was that way, right? And after having the conversation, I realized it wasn't even on the same road. We weren't even in the same city. You know what I'm saying? We were just, I was just out there selling all by myself. And this other person thought, hey, we're good. We're good, And so I had to apologize, and I had to say, hey, look, I'm sorry, because in my mind, I thought this. And when I tried to see where I was triggered, I wasn't triggered by the other person. I was triggered by my own thoughts. I was triggered by what I was telling myself. So our inner me is the enemy, right? Our inner me is our greatest enemy. And we got to deal with our inner me. We got to deal with those thoughts, those fictional things we tell ourselves. We got to remove the negative tape. We got to remove the negative thoughts. We got to, if you are feeling a certain kind of way, you got to do a temperature check, right? You got to go to someone and say, hey, look, did that really just happen? Is it really XYZ, or is it just me? Because if it's just me, then I need to deal with it and not take action on how I'm feeling. Because I've said this before, and I'm closing. I said this before. Sometimes our emotions can cause us to create problems where problems never existed. But we start to think and feel a certain kind of way. And those negative thoughts and those negative words that we tell ourselves build a situation that was never meant to be a situation. So I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. Hopefully I said something in all of that you will be able to take on and experience and really sit with. And I need to get home because I am all the way in Antioch. I was at a client, and then I have dinner with a friend that I caught up with. So I need to get home. But I wanted to come on because I refuse I refuse to miss a day. I refuse to miss a day. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to come on way early because tomorrow's going to be another hectic day because it's tax season. And I got clients that I got to do stuff for. But I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose, and I want you to do this for me. I want you to see the invisible so you can achieve the impossible. I want you to dare to be exactly who you were created to be, and the world will adjust. Does that sound good? Does that sound good? It sounds good. It sounds real good to me. So go out there and be your great self. Shine bright. Shine bright because somebody needs your light. Okay? You be blessed, be encouraged. Until next time. Bye.